All right. Another week, another Eagles victory. Beat the Pittsburgh Steelers today, 27-13. Sorry about the cough. Still drank over that a little bit. We beat the Steelers 27-13. It was considered to be America's game of the week. And sorry about that. Um, we beat the Steelers pretty convincingly. Um, Leading up to this game was some uh, pregame drama that really took place the entire week following the game, the win against the Panthers last week, in which AJ Brown made a comment about the passing game needs to improve, and a lot of people saw that as him taking a shot at Jalen Hurts, a very veiled shot at Jalen Hurts, and then there was it kind of birthed whole a whole thing about you know is Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown's relationship fractured? Are they still friends? All that. And then Brandon Graham came on his radio show. He was talking about the relationship, and it was just a whole bunch of silly things. The week it took forever to 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 play out. It was just it was all anybody could talk about, and today's game couldn't get here fast enough. And leading into this game, one had to think that um, the Eagles were going to do everything they could to heavily feature AJ Brown, to heavily feature both of our star receivers, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And that's exactly what happened. Um, Jalen Hurts had, from a numbers standpoint, he had one of the best games of the entire year. I think this is I don't know, I don't have it in front of me, but this might have very well been the most games, the most yards that he's thrown for in all of the games he's played this year. 25 of 32, crazy efficient day. 290 yards, two touchdowns, another rushing touchdown, courtesy of the brotherly shove, which gives him 14 rushing touchdowns on the year. Um, he did have a turnover, but I'm not going to hold that against him. It was his first turnover in weeks. He lost a fumble. Um, but again, I mean, you play the quarterback position, and when you play the position the way that Jalen Hurts does, you know, sometimes the ball is going to be put at risk. I mean, it happens. I'm not going to hold that against him. Jalen, he was solid again today. Saquon Barkley, one of the lesser days that he's had, only 19 carries, 65 yards, and really not much else. Yeah, he had a couple of catches, but Saquon Barkley, it wasn't about Saquon Barkley today. This was about Jalen Hurts and the passing game, the aforementioned passing game, which A.J. Brown called out following last week, and Jalen Hurts responded. Jalen Hurts responded. He responded in a big way. And hopefully this shows everybody that Jalen Hurts can be and that he's not just an efficient quarterback. He can make the big throws when when called upon. That he can do it. Jalen Hurts is an excellent quarterback as far as I've seen. this year. Um, he played well. He got our two top dogs. He got them their targets. AJ Brown, 8 catches for 110 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 11 catches for 109 and a touchdown. Both of them almost identical numbers. Devontae had a couple more catches, but AJ had one more yard exactly. They both got into the end zone. I mean, really can't ask for a much more efficient day from your QB1 and your two top receivers. Don't consider AJ Brown or Devontae Smith to be the wide receiver one or the wide receiver two. I consider them both to be alpha wide receivers. They're both wide receivers one, both wide receiver ones on the Eagles. Just take turns as going to be the top dog. But Steelers had no answers for us, and the Steelers had one of the better defenses in the entire NFL coming into this game. They were solid against the pass. They were great against the run, and the Eagles picked them apart. So hopefully, a game like this will put to bed any rumors, any speculation about any kind of rift that that's in the Eagles locker. Because again, like I was talking about earlier, that's all anybody could talk about. In the midst of a 9-game winning streak, Eagles playing some of their best football, coming off of a win, an ugly win, but a win nonetheless. And this is what what we were talking about the entire time is locker room politics. And it could have very well been a distraction. It could have very well been a distraction. It's all anybody talk about on the radio shows. I was listening to WIP on the radio shows, on TV, on afternoon sports shows. All anybody could talk about is the relationship between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. And the Eagles rallied together, I think, and they went out and handled their business against a team that had been on kind of a hot streak. They were hot. The Steelers coming into this game were hot. Russell Wilson was playing some good football. And just as an aside, as as long as Russell Wilson has been in the league, and whenever I see him play against the Eagles, Russell Wilson has always won. I believe this is the first time in Russell Wilson's career that he was on the losing side of a football game to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm glad that we were able to, quiet him and win the game. This was a deal for us. So a good win, a good all around win. The defense again was great. The Steelers, they were missing some guys, but we shut their running game down, man. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers here. Najee Harris, 14 yards. He was their leading rusher, and not by much, but by 1 yard. Russell Wilson, Warren, um, yeah, we totally on their offense. They couldn't do anything with us. Now they were missing George Pickens. He was out for this game, but I don't think it would have made much difference. The Eagles were clearly the far superior team in this game, and we showed. And a lot of people thought that this could be a potential Super Bowl preview. It might still be. It might be different once we play. If we, I don't want to get ahead of myself. If we but for today, the Battle of Pennsylvania was won handily by the Eagles. Don't be fooled by the final score. This game was never close. I don't think the Eagles trailed at all in this game. We we handled them. We handled them. We could have been a couple more scores that we had, but nevertheless, 27-13, and the game wasn't it was the level of play between the two teams was farther than the score indicated. Um, as far as Saquon Barkley, he had a down game, which I thought was very well happened because the Steelers do have they've always had um, defenses that play well against the run over the years, and today was no different. Um, I think that this, especially seeing the way um, Josh Allen for the Bills, uh, I think that game is over now. They were playing against the Lions. They won 48-42. Josh Allen, yeah, Josh Allen, he's going for 362, two touchdowns, ran for 68, another two touchdowns. I think, unfortunately, for Saquon, that because of the kind of game that he had or the kind of game that he didn't have, and because of the kind of game that Josh Allen did have today and beating the Lions, who had the best record in the NFL, I think that this vaults him above Saquon. I think it really puts a stranglehold, really gives him a stranglehold on the MVP award, which is unfortunate, but um, that award is really kind of um, slighted in the quarterback's favor. It's very difficult for anyone outside of a quarterback to get that award. You have to be playing out of your mind. And unfortunately for Saquon, he didn't play out of his mind today. He was kept in check. And so not only does it hurt his chances for the MVP, but it's also going to make him getting that single season rushing record more difficult. I think Saquon Barkley had 1,623 rushing yards today. Yeah, 1,623. After today's game, he's still in the 1,600 range. He's not even over 1,700 yet. So he's going to need to get about 400 rushing yards over the last three games. It's possible. I mean, we are because they're all divisional games. And Saquon Barkley, he ran crazy over all three of those of all three of our opponents the first time we played them. So it's not impossible, but it's just going to be even more difficult. And like I was saying last week, I don't want that to be a priority over over getting to the Super Bowl, especially now with the Lions losing, and now we're tied with them. We're tied with the Lions. We're the best record in the NFC. I don't want that to. I don't want the Eagles to place an emphasis on getting rushing record or trying to win a Super Bowl, which is what this is about. This is Eagles are doing special things here. The broadcast said that this 10-game winning streak that we are on is the longest in Eagles history. That's incredible. As as many good teams as the Eagles have had over the years, this is their first time that they've ever this is their first time that they've ever won 10 consecutive games. That's incredible, especially especially where we were at the end of September and just how uncertain this season was looking like it was going to be. So, it stinks, but and plus also too, Jalen Hurts 14 rushing touchdowns. I think if he gave half of those to Saquon Barkley, that could have helped out his MVP case too. Just putting that out there. Saquon Barkley has 11 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts if he shared some of those rushing touchdowns with Saquon, I think that could have won out a lot. But that's neither here nor there. Um, we gotta everything that the Eagles want is in front of them. Everything that the Eagles want in front of them. I don't know exactly how this will play out with 3 games and what the standings are now with the Lions losing today. I don't know if that puts us in the number 1 seed, but it's who do the Lions play over the last 3 weeks? Because all right, so the Lions play the Bears, the 49ers, and the Vikings, who are in the race for the top seed in the NFC themselves. So there's still a lot to be figured out over these last 3 weeks. Eagles, last 3 games are division games. Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. All of those games are winnable. Commanders, they could push us. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that we have a playoff spot, but we haven't clinched the division yet. Commanders, they're they're that should be a formidable opponent for us. Jaden Daniels, he's cooled off a little bit since he started to since his hot start this season, but they're playing well. And Commanders, they've got some steam. They won today. They've got some juice. They're starting to pick up steam a little bit, and we're going to be traveling there. Well, I think that could be a very big challenge for the Eagles, a winnable game. The Eagles win that game, they get the NFC East, and after that, depending on how it happens, I don't think that Eagles are going to be resting players, but yeah, no, I don't think they're going to. As long as the number 1 seed is still up for grabs, I think the Eagles are going to play this one all the way out. Now, in a perfect world, we play it out, we clinch home field advantage in the final week, and Saquon rushes for 300 yards against the Giants, his old team, to close out the season, and we go into the playoffs. That probably won't happen. Um, but is this game against the Commanders is going to be a challenge, and I think the Cowboys game could be a challenge too because the Cowboys they've got a dart throw of a prayer to get into the playoffs. Um, I don't see them getting in. They probably won't get in, and if they do somehow on a prayer get in, they'll be dealt with promptly in the first round by whoever it is they have to play against. They're just skeleton of a team right now. So the Eagles should win. The Eagles could lose, but they shouldn't. They in all honesty, they should win out these last 3 games. If we play hard and we stick to what we play the way we know we're capable. 15-2 is not out of the realm of possibility. It really isn't. And if the Eagles, if they just be smart, we can do it. We can definitely do it. So this next game is going to be coming up. It's going to be a tough one. It'll probably be our toughest game of the regular season because of everything that's at stake. Commanders, they know what's at stake too, and they're going to be playing hard. We embarrassed them the last time. Last time we played them, Quinyon Mitchell, he keep locks on Terry McLaurin. I'm expecting Terry McLaurin and those boys to be ready to come out and play hard. Going to be they're going to present a very good challenge to us. I we're just hot right now. We're just hot right now, and Eagles keep it rolling. That's what I say. Well, be smart and Keep this thing rolling. We're on a hot streak now. We're trying to get to 13-2. You know, let's get it. Let's get it. Don't put off the gas now. Everything we want, like I said, is still there, still in front of us. We you know, things hidden. There are no um there are no you know hidden things or nothing that we can't see. I'm gonna check to see what the standing is now that the Lions have lost. If we're still in first, if we moved up ahead of them, or if we're still neck and neck, they're still ahead of us. I want to check for that later, but um, yeah, we can do this. Let's keep a good time rolling. Last road game of the year. Let's make it a good one. Let's go out with a bang. Let's try and get this thing to 13-2.